What's poppin', humans? Welcome to Mad Talk. I'm talking. This episode of today's sponsor is brought to you by water. It's for everybody, and you should try it too. I'm back, and I hope that you didn't miss me a little too much. Welcome back to another session of what I got going on today, and what I have to talk about is crazy even for myself because I have been on another journey, and not just any journey, different ones. So I'm going to talk about the worst ones. And the worst ones I'm going to be talking about is the art of influencers and how these influencers create their own diversity known as cults. And hear me out. You got the scamming cults. You got the cheating cults. You got the big, strong alpha cults. You got the whimsy, mental, weirdo cults. You even have those type of cults that have a high platform in podcasting, which they have no reason to have one, yet it exists. So within that fine stream, it's the influencers that make it the big deal. Now granted, I'm not saying all influencers are bad, obviously, I'm just talking about the ones that actually have their sense of morality and, well, causing a bunch of chaos for no apparent reason. And to be honest, I already did talk about the goddamn pedophiles of influencers because, well, they're just there. Nobody understands how you can become so famous and yet resort to loving the youth. The scammers I'll talk about in a moment's time. I don't really have to talk about them as much because we see them all over the place. You know, they're high influencers. They talk about money, how to get rich, no strings attached, no scheming of any sort. Yet at the same time, it just brings you down a different notch. Nobody knows the fuck why, but it happens. And then the cheating cults. I don't understand why they have to go through their own lifestyle. The fact that you have to cheat just to get to the top of what you want in your life doesn't make sense to me. Like, why? Why is it okay to take another partner and then just be like, oh, well, it's all right. My original one don't care. Like, what are we doing? Again, open relationship is absolutely different. We're not talking about that category. We're talking about the cheating ones, the ones without consent. It's just like, damn, I trusted you. Now you did this. Why would you do this? It doesn't make sense. You gotta leave.
2 hours later.
Now we're gonna come back to the original times of my influencings of my journey, and this is the homeless journey.
Hold up. Wait a minute.
I have seen a lot of homeless people in different environments because, well, and I don't regret to say this, I envy the bastards. That's right, I envy like homeless people. Why? Because they just have this strong bond within themselves. For some reason, they don't really have to start working, or they don't choose to work. They choose to live a good life in their own way, and for some odd reason, that's actually going a pretty good way. I don't do hard drugs like they do, but when they do it, they're in a different world and somehow they survive. It's like the laws of reality and physics just don't bend to them because they say no. The musty sides of them, it's like a defense mechanism for anybody who tries to get too close. You know, you don't want to get harmed, but you also don't want to fight. So you piss yourself and you let that residue of that shit just become the odor of your defense block. It's honestly terrible in reality, but great for planning. A lot of influencers that are homeless people because I guess getting a job is very scary, which I understand that. I can't tell you how many job applications I put out and got rejected in the most nicest to cruelest way possible. But for the ones that really don't care about not getting a job, it really interests me to see how they grow so far, especially becoming so famous within the internet. They do one simple thing, but even that hatred can make them rise to the top. The ideas of taking hatred and building that to build your platform can be used in right ways if you know what you're doing, but in this case, for those who are homeless, which I've seen in the group, they really don't know what they're doing. So mentally twisted, but at the same time, they just try to find ways to fit into society, which doesn't make sense because how can you try to fit in when you're clearly obscuring the things that you're trying to fit in for? You know, anybody who has the purpose of trying not to be a deadbeat, right? You got the homeless people who expressed how they're deadbeats and how they're proud of it. I really don't understand how they do that. It's like, fuck my kid, fuck the person I was with. It doesn't work for me and I don't care because I don't want them a part of my life. I'm fine being myself. I can be free like how I used to be. I don't have to think about them. And that's just with the saying with the chest moment because goddamn, there are certain things I can say with my chest. That ain't one of them. Well, and that I don't have a kid, so. It gets interesting to see how anybody who's comfortable sharing their life in certain ways and different stories and aspects can really take it to the internet. And the internet really does take this whole idea of judgment to those who like and those who dislike, to those who are in the middle, to those who stray off. It really just becomes connected based on how the influencer takes himself. It just gets me that there are people who have motives, especially if they don't have a job. You're unemployed, yet you have so much creativity, you don't use it. You just twist it and crumble it into a way that you want to until it just deforms like a bomb and then blows up in your face because you had a downfall lifestyle. How does that work? But that is all the time that I wanted to have, so everybody, thank you for listening to what I wanted to say. This whole ranting just goes on and off for what I want to do. And my journeys definitely continue to make me question my existence sometimes. Not really questioning humanity. I love how humanity acts. It's amazing. We have so much diversity, to those who are happy, to those who are chaotic, to those who are depressed, to those who are just straight up angry. And it just goes on and on because there are just a plethora of how humanity acts. And the vibe is beautiful. The mindset is wonderful. Different ways to make it cringe and fucked up, but hey, it's the path we all set ourselves for. So always be amazing no matter what. Don't let anybody tell you what you can and can't do unless you're doing it if you're doing it the right way, don't let nobody tell you what you can and can't do. If you're doing it the fucked up way, take a little guidance. It's not bad to receive a good wisdom once in a while. Enlightenment is key to progressing in evolution. Or so I thought. I read it off a fortune cookie. Peace out.